Good morning, everyone. Week 14 is upon us. Last week before Thanksgiving. Things are really winding down now, and as we're thinking about this last essay project, we're going to turn our attention to a little bit of pre-writing with regards to our set design. So no exit, right? We watched it, we read it. It's a fairly entertaining play. It's very different than plays that you might have read over the course of your academic career up to this point. It's a very well-known play. It's not performed all that often because it is a little bit, outdated perhaps, but it's very well known and very conducive to this kind of assignment that we're engaging in. It's got one setting, of course, just the room that they're in, which is ostensibly hell, although it's probably not hell in the way that we tend to think about it in at least this part of the world. And you've got three main characters. You've got Inez, you've got Estelle, and you've got Garson. All very different kinds of people, all in hell for very different reasons. And of course, throughout the play, they kind of reveal who they are and what their lives have been like. And there's moments where they kind of look out into the distance and can see the people who they left behind in the world, talking about them, handling their affairs, shuffling about, going through their own mourning processes, as it were. And all throughout the play, it's about exploring, what kind of people are we? What have we done to deserve to be here? Can we make this three-way relationship work for eternity without driving each other crazy? And of course, by the end of it, it becomes pretty clear that it might be a little challenging for a lot of various reasons. And so I don't really want to spoil what the upcoming work is, but I do want to talk about how to treat this play in the upcoming assignment. So if you've read the prompt and sort of watched the video that had my wife there talking about her job as a costume designer, then you know that the goal of this assignment is to design this play. And essentially what that means is just character analysis through the proxy of descriptive details about what these characters will look like in your mind as you present this play. The first step of this is just going to be thinking about what the new setting is going to be, and not just in the broad meta terms, but in the specific aspects of what we're going to put on stage. And throughout this whole thing, I want you to sort of bear in mind that the goal here is to envision this as a play that an audience will come to see. We're not putting these characters in a world and in a universe with large landscapes and multiple buildings and things. We are putting them on a stage, and your audience is going to be looking at this stage for the entire duration of the play. And so through talking about the setting of this play, we're going to sort of throw out some ideas for what new context we're going to bring this play into. If you have looked through course content, you've probably seen a couple of sample essays about this just to show you what students in the past have done with this assignment. You can set it in, of course, any kind of like modern period, and I'm willing to take historical period as well. I've had students set things in like antebellum South or Wild West or medieval castles or whatnot, but I've also had students set this in like the Star Wars universe or the Harry Potter universe or a universe of some obscure video game or TV show or movie that they just happen to be a fan of. And the goal of this is to make what happens in this play fit into the new context. And ultimately, the goal will be to use our analysis of the characters and of what happens in this play and to express these things through what the audience beholds visually, to express them through their costumes, meaning their clothes, their makeup, their mannerisms, their hairstyle, just everything about them that goes into that STEAL of character design. Only this time we're more or less focusing just on the look. But before we get to the characters, we're going to just sort of take a moment and choose a new context, a new universe for this play to exist in. And that's really the only assignment that is on the table for this week. The goal is to just make that choice. And so you can make that choice because of something that you're a fan of. You can make that choice because it just seems particularly relevant to whatever is happening in the play. If all else fails, you can just bring this play into the modern day world and set it as if it were an apartment at your dorm in Knoxville. That would be perfectly acceptable. That's essentially it. If you haven't looked at the sample essays, I have linked a few in the announcement for this week. The discussion post is about choosing a setting for this play. I am going to ask you to upload some visual representation, and therein is the research aspect of this this assignment. You know, once a play has been read by the designers, as Liz said in the video, the next thing that they do is just start collecting images. They start looking for images that they can use as reference points for what will ultimately be their design. The pictures that you put as visual reference do not have to be exactly what you say is going to be on stage in your design rationale, but they are there to give you a visual frame of reference. So if you are thinking of, you know, setting this in medieval times, back in the days of kings and knights, then you may have a couple of pictures of castles and a couple of pictures of, you know, town squares and the like. But these don't have to be the literal settings of the play. This doesn't have to actually be where you put this. They just need to be there so that we understand what you are referring to when you talk about what the stage looks like in your essay. So there is a link to a set of instructions for a website called befunky.com. Befunky is just a collage creator. The steps for creating a collage in Befunky are very simple. I have linked descriptive instructions for you in the discussion post for this week. Befunky is free. You don't have to sign up. You don't have to pay for anything. You can just log in and use it. Uploading pictures to Befunky is basically exactly like uploading something to Dropbox or uploading an attachment to email. You just need to go first through Google Images or Shutterstock or wherever it is that you're getting your visual references from. Download them to your computer or some device that you can keep them on, and then upload them into the collage. You can rearrange them if you want, but then there's an option just to save the collage. And then you upload that collage along with your discussion post in Brightspace. So it shouldn't be that terribly difficult, but if you're having trouble getting it work, just let me know. I'll be glad to walk you through it if I need to. Have fun with this. You know, this is a very different kind of assignment. It's the end of the semester. We've worked hard. We've covered a lot of things. You know, the experience of poetry and the experience of short fiction can be complete just by sitting down and reading the words, but the experience of drama really isn't complete until you have put on a play. And like most creative, productive processes, that can be enjoyable, you know. So try to make this unique, make it your own. Let me know if I can be of help. Have fun with this. Have a good week. I'll see you soon.